2023, I did the, 300,000 run where I wanted to write, over 100 applications for over $100,000 of premium 3 months in a row. And so looking at the numbers for that, it literally came down to, it was just under 10,000 a month, but I spent, call it $10,000 a month on leads, but I wrote $100,000.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Annuity Fundamentals. I'm your host, Kylie Malott, and today we have a very special guest. And I first saw her at 8% Nation back in 2024, and she blew me away. Enough that I bragged about her behind her back to everyone that was at the conference. So please welcome today is Ashley Marie Richard. Ashley, so stoked to have you. Thank you for joining us. Ashley is a superstar. So she was on the stage at 8% Nation for a reason. Ashley joined the business in 2020. So she is a newer agent, I would say, but a senior agent when it comes to numbers. If you have a number in mind, she's beat it already. So thank you, Ashley, for being here. So stoked to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and love that we've got women on this one, women only. Get some women empowerment theme going. I'm about it.
Amen. Me too. So Ashley, give these agents, this is an agent facing platform. So we're trying to help agents, level up, get to that next level, especially those women agents out there. Ladies, I'm talking to you too. I've been to so many conferences and looked around and said, where are my girls at? So this one's for you to step up and say, hey, I am woman, hear me roar. So Ashley, give us a little bit of background about how you started and kind of from the start. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so my story is quite a unique one, one that I was not expecting it to turn into what it did. I started in the insurance space in 2020, like you said, and, my circumstances when I had started were I had just filed for divorce. Because I did so, my bank account was drained, so I had $0 to my name. I have two little kids. At that time, they were 2 and 4, and so I homeschooled them. Before I was a mother, I was a public high school teacher. I taught biology. I coached the girls' soccer team. I made a whopping $40,000 a year, which means I could do nothing except barely pay bills. So, no, just, being in the school system, I was like, oh my gosh, I will never put my children in here. Like, I will sell everything that I own and do anything humanly possible to make sure I can homeschool my children if I'm blessed enough to have children. And I do have 2 little boys. So, we were just going through such turmoil at that point in our lives. And, it was at a point where I had to file for food stamps, Medicaid. If you don't have any money, you can't buy leads. In this business, you have to buy leads. There's only so many friends and family you can try to sell something to. And at that point, I still to this day actually have not written a policy on any of my family. So you know how that goes.
Yep.
But anyways, so, in the beginning, I was just pure survival mode, pure desperation. I've got kids to take care of. I have to find a way to get a car, get a home, basic necessities. I was like, literally, I would see furniture on the side of the road that people were throwing away. I would pick that furniture up and take it home. like big dressers too.
Yep.
And I would paint it with whatever paint I found left in the garage. I'd sell it on Craigslist, let go. Sold my kids toys. Anything I could think of. My dog had a litter of puppies, so I sold puppies, and it was like, okay, how can I get $50 here, $100 here, whatever it was, just to get some leads. And so
the hustle.
Yeah, exactly. So, that and credit cards. I was taking out credit cards left and right, requesting credit limit increases. Like, I was super desperate, and I did not have any other option, because I wanted to stay home with my kids and teach them. And so January was the first month that I bought leads, and I bought the super old ones that nobody wants to call. And so I, called them, booked appointments. This was when we were driving to appointments, mind you. And so I drove there, the typical scene where it's a hoarder and she's grumpy and all that. somehow I did not know anything about insurance still. I was contemplating if it was legal what I was doing. I was like, I don't even know what the heck a term policy is. What's a whole life policy? I have no clue what I'm talking about. Is this safe to do? And yeah, I walked in there, I wrote a policy on her somehow, and then I remember just thinking in my mind, like, I have nothing to lose. Her brother was there, and I was like, I'm gonna talk to him. Just, why not? Like, what am I gonna lose? And I wrote a policy on him. So my first batch of leads called, booked appointments, they showed, wrote policies. And that was like the first little bit of belief that I think every new agent needs, is like, when you're able to accomplish everything, those policies are still in place, by the way, which is amazing. It's just like, okay, I can do this. Now I just need to do that same thing again and again and again. And, then it took off. And after that, COVID hit. So then we went through a transition of, I was still doing paper applications because I'm so not good with technology also. Because, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm like out planting things in the garden and like taking care of animals. We had so many animals. We still do. So I'm not used to anything with technology or anything like that. And so I was like, okay, I have to do what? What is Zoom? What is an e-app? I don't know how to do this. So I tried Zoom once. That was a no-go for me because, my children are here. A lot of the times I'm running appointments and my children are right next to me. So sometimes I need the mute button, or, crazy things pop up. And so I actually have done like arguably 99% of my business all over the phone. No Zoom, not in person or anything like that. And that's like a complete life changer for a mother, a single parent, stay-at-home parent, like homeschool parent, whatever you want to call it. That has completely changed our lives, just being able to do this job from home and virtually from anywhere, because I've done it now all over the United States. I've literally been in Alaska in between mountains, like writing applications. I'll pull over on the side of the road. I've written them at my kids' soccer practice, at the gas station. Like, you can do this job anywhere. So it went from $0 to obviously not $0. So it's been quite a journey, one that I am like forever thankful for. And, what I've been able to do with my kids is priceless. So super thankful for the business.
You know what? Isn't that so true? This business does give us a lifestyle that we couldn't really have otherwise. But with that, I feel like Spider-Man, like, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
But it's with great power, like great freedom, comes great discipline. And I mean, for you to pull over on a mountain, at a gas station, at your kid's soccer game, like, that's discipline. And there are a lot of agents who take that as like, no, I deserve to go get a sweet treat. I deserve to go to my kid's soccer game and like be present, or whatever the case may be, right? We say things to ourselves. And as moms, I'm also a mom, and talk about mom guilt, right? It's like, oh gosh, am I doing enough? Am I present enough? Am I providing enough? And I'm not a single mother, so I can't relate to you there, which, being a mom in general is tough. Being a single mom, I can't imagine. Kids, especially with two. Oh my gosh. Like, I know people watching this are like, she did what? She did what in 4 years? Like, 4 years. I didn't even tell you guys, 2,300 applications. Let that sink in. That means this woman has worked her tail off and she is being humble. But when she says she stopped at the gas station, she's being truthful. You don't write 2,300 applications working 9 to 5. You don't. So, Ashley, tell us a little bit about the lead source, where it started to where you are now, what you used to do, what you've learned. I mean, there's a lot of agents who I've talked to, they're like, gosh, I've spent thousands of dollars on leads, and then I'd pay my bills and I have nothing left over. Like, it's just, what do I do? What do I do? So give them some advice. What did you do? What's your secret sauce?
Yeah, so, a lot of reasons why agents quit are, number one, you don't have quality leads. Number two, you don't have belief in yourself and or a product. Number three is going to be you don't have a solid mentor. You don't have someone to at least teach you and guide you enough that you know, feel supported while you're going through this process. Because a lot of us are learning something completely new that we've never done before. I mean, I had no sales experience. I always joke and say that my sales experience actually was in college. I worked at Dillard's for like one semester and sold shoes, and I didn't actually sell shoes. I just bought shoes with my paycheck. So really, I sold shoes to myself. So
There
maybe I
you
was
go.
a success there. um, but no, it's just, you know, you need to actually look at people that have what you want and, you know, follow what they're doing. Stop trying to reinvent things. And so, you know, I've been with Symmetry, powered by Quility, I want to say it correctly, for 5 years now, and they're actually the only lead source that I've used. I work mortgage protection leads. I love mortgage protection leads. I know there's so many lead sources out there with, you know, final expense, digital leads, all this stuff. I mean, everything's moving to probably be fully all tech, whatever, automated, all that stuff.
Yep.
And, you know, for me, I've tried, you know, the other leads, but I like mortgage protection leads because, you know, it's a family. Typically, they're, you know, better vetted leads. So you know that they have a job, you know that they have a family, you know that they've got bills to pay, you know that, you know, the average you can take from someone paying a $2,000 a month mortgage, they can probably afford $200 a month towards life insurance, whatever it might be. And that's our job, right, to uncover what the need is for the family, asking the right questions. And so, yeah, I love mortgage protection. If I could just do what I've been doing for the last 4 years, I would keep doing it. But either way, it's, you know, you should be able to, in my opinion, at least 8 to 10x what you're spending on leads. I mean, in 2023, I did the, you know, 300,000 run, where I wanted to write, you know, over 100 applications for over $100,000 of premium 3 months in a row. And so looking at the numbers for that, it literally came down to, it was just under $10,000 a month, but I spent, call it $10,000 a month on leads, but I wrote $100,000. I mean, how many people would that be easy to do that exchange? You know, doing your job. Obviously, I'm working an insane schedule just to kind of prove a point with doing that. But it's basically showing this business is, when you're selling something to a client, it's an emotional decision, but the business itself, there is no emotion in it. It's all numbers. Everyone should be able to actually look at their numbers and see what's what. I've become obsessed with spreadsheets now. So I've got like 80 spreadsheets that I look at. But when it comes to what you spend on leads, to, you know, how many dials you're putting in, how many contacts, how many appointments you're booking, your show rate, all that stuff, you can break everything down numerically to literally see how much you're making every time you make a single dial. And so that part for me has been cool, because coming from, you know, literally being an emotional wreck with everything that was going on in my life, this was something that was so therapeutic to me as a woman, as a mother. You know, being a woman and not being able to buy your kid diapers and wipes is a terrifying feeling, let me tell you. It is a feeling that I don't wish on anyone, on top of all of the other trauma that, you know, has been there in my life. And so having a business like this, where I'm able to actually take control and say, hey, I want to make my teacher's salary in a month. I know exactly how to do that now. You know what I mean? And so how many lives would that change if you've got people that need an extra $10,000 a year of income, or they want to do this full time and make 6 figures and work part time? I mean, that's possible in this business. So it's, you have to have good leads. You've got to actually have a mentor, someone that you can actually touch base with, I mean, daily, if possible, when you're doing this business, because that's going to keep your head on straight, because we tend to get emotional with someone hanging up on us, or, you know, things like that, which is normal. Yeah. And just being consistent with everything. Doesn't matter if you've got the best lead source possible. If you're not consistent, you're going to fail regardless. You'll waste a bunch of money on leads, but it's on you because you're not being consistent. So the business itself is beautiful in a way to me, because it really puts a mirror in front of your face as far as what you need to work on character-wise. and what you need to actually hold yourself accountable for. So if you do this business right, not only can you make a really amazing income, but you can change your life from a non-monetary standpoint and just become a better person in the process. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. When I got into this business in 2020, same as you, I cut my teeth in Medicare, and that was quite a learning experience. Like you, I wish if I could go back to my first 10 clients, I'd apologize and be like, "Hey, I'm so much better now. Let's try again." The
Right?
first sale I had, I walked out and was like, "Oh my gosh, same.
What do
Like,
I do?
did I just do that? Like, is that okay? Is it gonna work? Like, everything I said, is that true?" you know,
Right?
because you believe. The more you talk, the more you believe it, right? So those first
Yeah.
couple, it's very nerve wracking. So just like anything, right? It's just the first time you do it, you're not good at it. There's nothing. I'm a sports girl, and I grew up playing sports, and I would train these agents, and I would say, do you think if you got onto a basketball court, what would be the first shot you take? Is it a half court shot? Is it a 3-pointer? Is it an elbow shot? Or is it a lay-in? And you have to start with the fundamentals, right? It's
Yep.
the step by step of like, A, knowing your product well enough to talk on it, right? Some people get like, I have to know every single detail. I need to be the brochure. Okay.
Yeah. You
No,
don't.
you don't, right? You don't. You need to know enough to be dangerous and to help people. And when it comes to mortgage protection, Medicare, anything in our business, that's exactly what we're trying to do is help people. And I think if you come into this business not wanting to like put yourself out there and to have a servant's heart and like really help other people, it will never work for you. It will be too transactional, and you'll start to hate the business. So there is something to be said about really diving in and enjoying your craft and what you do and making it work for your lifestyle. So
Yeah.
you talked about a mentor, and I think a lot of agents fail because they lack mentorship. And I have a 6-week course that we help people with annuities and getting into the annuity field. And I tell my these agents all the time, if this is the last time you and I talk, it's a mistake. You need support, and I'm here, and I'm wanting and willing. And you would be shocked about how many people never reach out,
Yeah.
right?
I know.
And especially women. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's. I've had a lot of strong women come through the class and thought, oh, they're firecrackers. Like, this is going to be good. Like, they're ambitious. I like it. And then I don't know what happens. It's different for everybody, right? The excuse is different for everybody. But what changed? What was it for you that it was like, you know what? What clicked? Like, what was that mind shift? Was it your first sale? Was it your first year? Was it just like, what was it? Like, what started your fire?
Yeah. Well, as far as what started my fire was, you know, the two people in my life, which anyone can figure out who I'm talking about probably as a woman. The two most significant, important people in my life had gone above and beyond to make my life and my children's life painful. Um, and I am, from what I've been through in life, I am someone who is so motivated by breaking generational chains. I want to be a very specific type of mother. I'm raising boys who are going to grow up to be men, and I do want them to be respectful, kind, loving, empathetic, compassionate men who work hard, provide for their family. You see them and you respect them because of their character, not because of words that come out of their mouth. And so I was on fire because I was in pain from my life. And so, like I said, for me, this business was therapeutic. And so I always say this business has like a domino effect. And so, obviously the first time when I wrote a policy, then it was, I can do this. I can really do this. And then I remember it was like July of 2020 and I wrote 15,000 in a month. And I remember the feeling of not being satisfied of like, okay, now I know how to do 15,000 a month. How do I do that in a week? Like, I want to change my life right now, right this minute. Um, and so then it was, how do I do this consistently? How do I consistently write 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month? How do I do this in homeschooled children? How do I do this? Like, I've got all these different hats to wear. And so the biggest thing for me is what I've gone through in life. And in the beginning, I did all the things that most of us tend to do. We find excuses of why we can't dial, why we can't do this business, why we can't. And I remember looking at my kids and I was like, if I'm not on my phone, I am not helping my children. I am not going to become the mother that I want to be if I don't find a way to provide for them. Because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's extremely hard being a single parent. I'm wearing so many different hats. There's, like you're talking about women and how they kind of disappear. It's because we don't speak very kindly to ourselves naturally. We're very hard on ourselves. Women tend to be perfectionists. Women tend to say it's never good enough. And so I've gone through that journey as well as, I don't want to speak negatively to myself anymore. I've had that my whole life. Now I want to actually speak positively to myself and show myself what I can actually accomplish. And guess who's watching? Those two little boys. Those are the only two little boys who have seen what I've done day in and day out, all of the hard work, all of the sacrifice, because they've had to sacrifice too. And so, it's every day that I look at them, there's not a day that I'm not motivated ever. Like I don't have that problem because I want them to remember who I am as a person, and I want them to look at me and be proud that like that is my mom. There's nobody like her. And so the only way to do that is by action. They're smart. They're going to grow up and they're going to see if somebody's, giving them lip service and they don't live out what they talk about, then they're not going to respect that person as much. And so, I want to make my kids proud. So what else do I need to be motivated by? I'm not motivated by money. I'm not motivated by someone, a person, place, or thing. Like I'm motivated by what the memory of me is going to be with my children. And so, I run, I don't walk.
That's intimidating to a lot of women. It is because you said it so well. I don't know why we tend to doubt ourselves the way we do.
Yeah.
Why do we have that negative self-talk? Nobody has time for that. How many times I can't even count. How many times have you been in a room and you're like, this guy? Like this guy is successful? Really?
Why would I?
Like he's
yeah.
him and not me?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Let's rework the system here because that guy's a Gomer. Yeah, that guy's a Gomer and I'm awesome and I know I can beat him. So the universe is not, it's not balanced, okay? So I love that. So Ashley, you've been in the business 4 years. What's next? You have a couple of books coming out. Talk a little bit about that. What is that about?
I've had so many people, especially given my, my story. Obviously, I haven't gone like crazy into my story, but, anyone who's heard me speak or anything like that, you can kind of put together the pieces of what's transpired and whatnot. But I've had so many women who have said, me too, that's happened to me, or, so many women who are like discouraged. And I so desperately want to help them. I so desperately want them to experience what I've experienced. And, I only have so much time in the day. It just is what it is. So, with my experience with sales, I don't know many people who have literally talked to thousands of clients in that short span of time. And so at this point, with sales, I wasn't necessarily I wasn't watching podcasts. I wasn't learning sales from somebody else. I just became obsessed with it myself. And so it was like more appointments. Let me try to say it this way. Let me try to say it that way. And I would just kind of it became so enjoyable for me of picturing this maze with a client, somebody that I don't know. And how do I find my way through this maze in the most efficient, smooth, kind, helpful way possible? And, a lot of times it's just how you say like an emphasis on one word, or it's asking something as a question, or it's pulling someone back into the conversation, or how many people like are so uncomfortable asking for bank info or social security number, or, they just give up and quit because someone says, I want to think about it. Like, I just became obsessed with how do I get the perfect presentation and like pick up these little things that work every time. And then it's like, how do I give that back to people? A lot of people come in this business, and I mean, with insurance, especially if you're in an organization, it's like build, 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 build. And I get it. Building is great. I think everyone should know about this business. I don't know why everyone doesn't do this business. I'm thankful they don't, because I want more leads for myself. But no, it's like a lot of people come in here like, I couldn't come in this business and build. I had $0 to my name. I had nothing. I didn't even have a penny. And so trust me, if I saw pennies, I was literally picking them up off the ground. That's how desperate I was. And so I'm like, people need to learn how to sell. And so how do I put like my exact script, breaking down everything, like what my journey looks like, what my schedule looks like, what I read, what I listen to, like every single thing that I do. How much would that help someone coming into the business? Because some people are stuck where they're at. Some people don't get along with their mentor. Some people don't have a mentor. Some people are single stay-at-home moms with no time, and they don't know about working different time zones and structuring a schedule and having someone to, reach out to and things like that. So I was like, okay, write a book. Most people can find a way to spend whatever, 15, 20 bucks on a book. I'm going to read this, obviously look at my numbers. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm saying. And so how many people would that actually help that I just don't have the time to meet with? And then it's like, okay, book, check. I want to write a book that helps women that have been through what I've been through. So, there's a sales book coming out this year. There's a self-help book for women who have been through abuse and trauma and things like that. That's coming out later this year as well. And then I'm like, okay, sales training. Some people actually are able to invest in sales training. And so I've got a website, trainingbyashley.com. There's different programs on there, even if you want to meet once, if you want to meet for a month, if you want to meet for a 90-day program, things like that. I mean, I truly think if people put their head down for 90 days in this business and they follow a plan, a structured, consistent plan, like that's it. Your life is changed. You can learn everything that you need to know in this business in 90 days and completely change your life, your family's life, and everything. But it's literally like we need one person. Like a lot of us just need one person to show us how, just to touch base with, someone who keeps us in a positive mindset, someone who's showing us where to walk. Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I stop for a second? What do I do? And so I want to be able to help as many people as possible, especially women, especially moms, especially single parents. But again, there's only so much time. So I'm trying to do what I can to at least feel like I'm giving back, while still being able to homeschool and, run an agency and write business and stuff like that. So my time's super limited with the training stuff, but hopefully we'll get all of that to a place where like more people have access to it. And, I can just break down everything that I do because, like I said, some people, if you could make $10,000 a month, that changes their life. And you can do that not working a 9 to 5 for somebody else, not being controlled, not being told where you have to be, when you have to be, exactly what you get paid, and that to me is where people start to now get some self-worth. Especially as women, we connect our self-worth to some different things that make us not have very high self-worth. And so when you start to actually see that you can completely depend on yourself and change your life, that's empowering and that's contagious. And so how many people can we teach this to is the thing. So those are what's coming out: books, sales training, all that fun stuff.
I love that. I love that you use the word contagious, because isn't that the truth? When you see somebody succeed, you want to do it too. Like if you're highly motivated, obviously, Ashley, we can't start people's engines, right? That has to come from within. But what we can do is give them the road to ride on and a path to follow. And I'm glad you are writing a book. I will be a purchaser of that book. There's no doubt about it. When someone does what you've done in the past 4 years, I mean, we're barely starting 2025, so 2,300 applications in 4 years. People don't do that in 20. So you're going to be a hot commodity. There's no doubt about it. I appreciate that so trainingbyashley.com, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So if you're listening to this and something resonates with you and you're thinking, gosh, she came from a hellacious background, if I can say that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't easy. It's not like
No.
you're saying, hey, I had it was all right. I graduated from college, I got married, and it all worked out. That's not your story. Your story is very different, very unique, but it makes you you. And I know that my background makes me me. And there are certain aspects about me that other people can't replicate. The same way there are certain aspects about you that people can't replicate. But there are systems that you
Right.
have put into place, that we have put into place, that you can replicate. So if you're listening to this, highly recommend you check out Ashley. If you're looking to get into the business and really kick start it and say, hey, I don't just want to, survive it, but I want to thrive here.
Yeah.
Definitely hit her up. She's incredible. We're just 30 minutes. I'm so sad we're running out of time, but this could be a 3-hour long podcast. Ashley has a ton to give. So check her out, check her book out. If you're already an agent and you're saying, okay, I've done that, I'm ready to get into the annuity space, check us out at annuityfundamentals.com. Like Ashley, we are a training platform. So what you should be getting from this message is we want to help you. We've been where you are. I started off applying for credit cards so I could buy leads too. That's how it starts. You're not alone. You're not special, right? What makes you special is getting to work and making the difference and saying, I want something different. I see my life, it's no longer serving me. I see the habits that I had, they are no longer serving me. And I want to be somebody else, so I need to change. And the first step to do that truly is support and mentorship. So if you're looking for some sort of mentorship, my first place, if it was me, it would be Ashley. I would be going straight to her website and saying, I need a month. I need a month with you. I think that's a great starting point for those out there. A month is, for me personally, even too short. I would give her 6 months of my time to say, hey, I want to be like you. 2,300 applications, rookie of the year. I mean, the accolades, check them out in the comments. They're a paragraph long. This woman knows what she's doing. She's got grit, and she's not a quitter. And her life is not easy. Nobody's life is. A single mom, 2 boys. I have 1 son. He's 9. I'm barely treading water. Like, this kid controls me. So I can't imagine having 2 and just being outnumbered. So Ashley, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your message. I know it resonates with not just women, but with people. We've all been at the bottom at some point in our lives.
Yeah.
And it really just takes somebody to reach out their hand and say, hey, I can help. And by you just putting that book out there, by having a website, by being yourself, you're not trying to be anybody else. I mean, your literal website is Training by Ashley. How
Thanks.
incredible is that? It's very upfront. You know what you're getting into. So I would highly recommend you check her out. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so sorry we're short on time. I need to have you back. You're incredible. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, girl. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We'll catch you next time with Annuity Fundamentals. See ya.